Welcome back to my studio. It's been such a long time, and life has been full of excitement and changes, and so I haven't had the capacity to be in here doing work like this, talking about myself and my Yiddishkeit, which is not the highest priority of work these days. Um, but I do have some time again, and I'm very happy to be here talking about these things that matter to me, and hopefully will resonate with you in some way too. So what I want to talk about is this idea of fromness. And lately I've been feeling some uncomfortable feeling around it because I do call myself frum, and I'm aware, I've always been well aware that I don't fit any aesthetic or even minhag that looks like frum to anyone else. But it was a term that I really wanted to claim for myself. So the history with myself and with the word frum or frumness, the idea of it really goes back to my childhood, where growing up in a very secular sort of lapsed orthodoxy of, you know, going to shul for Yom Kippur. That was probably it by the time I got to be a teenager after Bar Mitzvah, and doing a Seder, and doing Friday nights in a sort of what we would call a traditional way, just basically lighting candles and having a nice meal and challah. And that was probably most of the extent of our Yiddishkeit at that point. And so outside of that, frumness was really derided in my home. It was seen as just hypocritical, ridiculous, waste of time, and probably just on top of that, a bit silly. Anything spiritual, anything that involves imuna or just capacity to see anything past the surface level of life would be seen as kind of ridiculous, which is very hard for someone like me who really has always seen things that way and felt things that way, and for it to really just not be taken seriously was difficult growing up. So anyway, in my home, frumness was really looked down upon, but I don't think I ever really felt that way. I internalized it a bit, but I always have memories of seeing the big machas in shul with their big Chabad talit over the head, davening, real kavanah, shocheling, and I identified, I think, a lot more with that than the people that I had grown up with, the little scarf talis. And this wasn't reform, this was just South African Litvaks. But that's their minhag. It's like, it's I suppose it's much more entrenched in the Enlightenment and more rationalist. I don't really know, but it wasn't for me. It never has been for me. So I was drawn much more to what was considered frum. And now, I have this very specific Yiddishkeit that I practice and constantly am refining and, processing all the time how I'm doing things and whether it aligns with my values and how I want to see myself as a Jew and as a human. And I can't call what I do anything but frum, like, so I don't do things according to orthodox halakha, but it's not out of any kind of malice or spite or resentment I have towards them. It's just those things aren't going to work for me, and I can't let them hold me back when I know that I need to be a frum Jew. I need to be able to see myself that way because that is what I am and what I'm doing. And it is just a bit of a challenge when you're in community to explain this to people, because I need like this. I need like an open space of, 5-10 minutes to really talk about it, and people that are willing to listen, because it's not something that most people just get quickly. They're like, but you don't look Chabad, you don't look, how could you be from? Your partner's non-Jewish and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, like I'm on a different derech. Like, and I'm not saying it's easy or that I would recommend it to other people. Everyone's got to do what's right for them, and this is what I've done. You know, and I don't even need to be seen that way, but it is just a little hard. Like I'm saying, when I'm increasingly in community spaces these days in person, and it's kind of new for me outside of when I was quite young to be doing this with other Jews. And so I do feel seen, and it's not in the best way. Usually it's just like, what are you, what is this yami you're wearing, and your child's got this really Jewish name. like, yeah, it's my great great grandfather. Like, yeah, and these are all ways of expressing my Jewish identity. So I just would like it if other people who wanted to use the label of frum could just use it. I don't think the way I'm doing it is like really bad appropriation or anything. I mean, it's just the only real way to describe the kind of Jew that I am. I'm not a secular Jew. I'm not, whatever. And you could say, oh, you're a spiritual Jew or something. It's like, no, I don't like that term. I don't want to be, I've already had someone recently try to put me into this like New Age spirituality box. Like, sure, I take things from New Age spirituality because there's good stuff in there, like there is in every tradition. But that is not what I'm doing. Like, I'm clearly doing these things within a very Jewish framework. It's like, it's disrespectful to just reduce it to you're spiritual. Like, I was spiritual before I did tshuva. I was spiritual because I would do meditation and yoga and all the things that apparently make you a spiritual person, which I guess is true. Although I think a lot of it is more just who you are. Like, are you more connected with that side of life? And I always have been. But that's not what I am anymore. I am a frum Jew. I'm a religious Jew. I'm not Orthodox. And I'm saying that if you want to do the same, there's a path that you can take. Shalom. Hope to see you all again soon.